Hello and welcome everyone to episode 23 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
Doing pretty good. Of course, I'm the English letterer for manga like Dragon Ball Super, Kaiju number 8, Yashimon, and many, many more.
You've been quite prolific.
Yeah.
It's always good to see more and more of your work get out there.
Yeah. Just a quick side thing about work. I think I talked to you about this a few months ago while I was working on it, but there is a Deadpool manga that is just straight up, like Deadpool with a bunch of Shonen Jump references, basically. And I worked on the second of 2 volumes of that, and I got my copy in, and it comes out. The street date is like sometime in June.
Ooh, nice.
So just seeing that, like getting that physical copy in my hands, I was like, yes, finally. It's very exciting.
If any Marvel character to fit into manga, it would Deadpool. It'd be Deadpool.
It would be Deadpool.
Deadpool or Gwenpool or any of those wacky ones.
Yeah, pretty much.
Squirrel Girl.
Oh man, that would be a good fit.
Oh yeah, it would. But time to finish up Whiskey Peak, another short saga.
Yeah,
this time in 2. But man, there's some interesting stuff in here that I'm kind of trying to reevaluate. I think in terms of how well it works. Because I remember at the time being kind of excited by it, but I'm not sure if it holds up upon read or re-experience.
Yeah, we'll have to get into it.
Yeah, but first up, Chapter 111, The Secret Criminal Organization.
This has to be one of the coolest spreads in the manga so far.
Yeah, it's this ancient ruins, Nami posing with her gun, and how often is it that Nami's the most badass looking?
Right, seriously.
Like, I love the look.
She's front and center, and everybody else is kind of just like hanging out. Luffy's fighting a giant snake.
Over a
piece of meat.
Usopp's just taking in the moon, and the other two are just sort of hanging out. Although I love the little straw hat flag on top of Sanji's hat.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind if that was Nami's default look, because it's a good look.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But speaking of Nami, last time we left off with her offering to help poor Igaram here.
Extortion!
Through extortion for 1 billion berries. And even if he has to clear his throat after it is, because it's just so shocking. And I love how Zoro's just like, you must still be tipsy.
Yeah.
And Nami's just like, nah. Give me more credit. That was all an act. I can drink way more. I would never let my guard down at a place that actually welcomed pirates.
She completely owns the scene. It is so good.
Mm-hmm. Just completely has it all in hand. Throws off Zorro. Just this big smile. Is like, oh, will you pay us $1 billion? Or because without our help, she looks like she's probably gonna die. And she's like,
yeah. I was like, whoa. It's hard to figure out who's the villain here.
That is definitely villains.
Oh yeah, Zoro's just like, that's blackmail.
Yeah, all she's just saying is pay up. Igram's just like, I can't guarantee it. I'm just a soldier. It's like, you're not saying she's not worth it? He's just like, hey, deliver her to the kingdom, negotiate the fee with her. Shouldn't be a problem, right? And even then she's just like, you expect us to save her before we get the money? Just like, right. Geez, Nami.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this is all happening while Vivi is trying to run away.
Mm-hmm. It's like she is in actual danger.
And Nami's
chased by these 2 high-ranking Baroque Works people. Yeah. And but she relents. He's like, all right, we'll save her. Go get him, Zorro.
Yeah.
And I love the logic here.
Yep.
Why should I go along with this? She's like, you're stupid. The money's all mine, but the contract obligates the whole crew.
The most in-character thing is for Nami to do all the talking and to get everybody in the situation and just sort of like hide back and let everybody else do all the hard work. Mm. She's like, you just have to swing your sword a little.
Yeah, that's what. I love how she manipulates him. It's like, what, you don't think you can beat him? It's like questioning the pride.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Luffy actually wakes up and has to go to the bathroom while they're still arguing.
This whole just chaotic.
Oh yeah, I love this as well. where we find out that he did actually borrow money from Nami for the swords back in Logtown. And Zorro's like, yeah, I paid you back and I got the sword for free, so I didn't even need your money. But you promised to pay 300% interest, so you still owe me 300,000 berries.
I love how they have a note like, that's not correct math, but we're just going to roll with it.
Yeah. It's like, in Nami's mind, these calculations are correct. It's like, I love this. It's like, isn't that enough? No. Aren't you going to keep your word? It's just
she's completely, yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's she is probably one of the most powerful of the crew.
Yeah, especially in moments like this.
Yeah, she knows how to get every other crew member to do what she wants.
Yes. That's pure manipulation, but it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. and then she actually sticks around with Igaram. It's like, it's all right. He's strong. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
She does start expressing concern where Igaram's just like, our kingdom would crumble. She has to live.
Yeah. It's a very humorous scene, but there are actual stakes. And not even Nami's sort of like, taken aback by that.
It's like, this matters
but yeah,
more than we thought.
Yeah. Things are getting serious.
That's when we finally get to back to Vivi as she's running away with Karoo. And hey, Miss Monday woke up and she's ready to help out as well.
I love that we have sort of like she's running away from Mr. Five and the other one,
Miss Valentine, I believe.
Yeah, Miss Valentine. And so we sort of have like Vivi's getting help from some of like some of the other members who are like kind of defecting to help her out, even though they don't know the full situation.
Yeah, because her partner helped her out before, and now Miss Monday out of nowhere, which she didn't expect. But she also has a reason. It's like, thanks to the swordsman, we'll probably be executed anyway, so I'd rather die helping you.
You know what? That's a good point.
Yep. That's it. That's not a bad idea. And this is when we learn a bit more about what Mr. Five is capable of. It's not just his boogers, it's all of them, because he just he reveals his arm and just clotheslines her, and just with just like big old explosion.
And just explodes.
We find out it's the Boom Boom Fruit, where he's human dynamite. Again, goes from that badass look, badass picture of him clotheslining Miss Monday to pick your nose and toss a booger.
Yeah, it's just like you're not allowed to, well, unless you're Zorro, you're not allowed to look cool and have a cool power. But Zorro coming in with a save where he slices the booger bombs in half.
So it explodes on either side of him.
Yeah.
And I love his reaction. Just, I sliced your boogers in two.
Again, it's just the right balance of being cool and just like, hilarious.
I don't know what it is, but the panel where Vivi's going darn it, I think might be one of her coolest panels.
Yeah,
the hair down, the desperation. It's
right. Yeah, because she still thinks Zorro's an enemy at this point.
Yeah, she's ready to attack, and it's like, no, I'm here to rescue you, so lay off.
Yeah.
We leave off there and go back to Nami, sort of learning more about Baroque works.
Got some exposition here.
Where Igaram tells her that nobody knows what the boss looks like. Dale deals in espionage, assassination, theft, bounty hunting, and the boss is who tells everybody what to do. Yep. But the goal is to create a utopia, and those who work for them are promised high positions. Okay, I can see people going along with that. But we got to look out for Mr. Zero. The closer your code name is to zero, the higher your position and the more powerful you are.
Like, it's very simple, basically. Like, it's very easy to understand. Of like, you're basically going to be like working their way up the ranks. And I think it's not an accident that we get Mr. Five right now, and we have Igaram saying everybody below 5 is especially dangerous.
Is it 5 and below or just 4 and up?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what that is. It seems to imply that 5 is included in that.
Right. Yeah. Either way, he's like at the line.
Yeah. It's a demonstration of like, these guys are only getting stronger from here, and they're
exactly.
I mean, they're proving themselves to be pretty effective at this point. Although after Luffy uses the restroom, he finally realizes something's up.
Yeah.
But we go back and we have this confrontation between Five, Valentine, and Zorro, and it's like, well, it's time to have this big showdown. Yeah. And then Luffy comes up in a huff, like literally.
Yeah.
And Zoro's just like, hey, how's it going? He's like, hey, you don't have to get involved in this, or do you owe her money? He's like, Luffy's just like, no, we're going to fight.
He's like, I've had it with you. Those last two panels are just like, what?
Just out of nowhere. Especially with Luffy looking so ridiculous. So, I mean, definitely still continues the action-heavy aspect of it, where we're getting the switching sides of the crew. We're getting more of what Baroque works are all about, and then we get the wild card that is Luffy.
Yes, you never know what he's up to.
Really, really don't. We have the SBS, and I'm just quickly scanning through it. Nah, there really is nothing.
Yeah, not a lot going on in that one.
Yeah, other than like, why did you create SBS? It's like, it's because they had them when I was growing up, so I wanted to include them. There you go.
Yep.
Good chapter, but I'm going to be curious about your thoughts on this one. Chapter 112, Luffy versus Zorro. And before we even get to that, though, of course, we got to come up with the decision that Garp has made regarding Kobe and Helmeppo, where he's going to deal with these two, and it seems to imply he's taking them back to Navy headquarters.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this looks to shock one of his guards.
Yeah, I feel like we could have gotten here without like the past 4 or so cover stories.
It feels like there's a lot of padding here.
Yeah.
You know, you got a week in between these, and it's barely anything is happening.
Yeah.
It's the pacing on this Kobe and Helmeppo one isn't great.
Yeah.
So we get into this, and Luffy is challenging Zorro.
He's ungrateful.
He finds everybody else sliced up, and he's like, hey, these people welcomed us. They fed us. They showered us with kindness, and you went and chopped them up. And Vivi's immediate reaction is like, is he really that dense?
Yeah. Zorro's just like, well, I mean, yeah, but...
I have a reason, and
yeah.
I love how Mr. Five and Valentine are just like, let's get rid of them both. They're so irritating.
Yeah.
And, man, Luffy goes for it, and his big thing is like, I don't want to hear excuses. Goes to punch him, punches through a wall, and he's actively trying to kill Zorro.
Yeah. Zorro's like, are you really trying to kill me? And Luffy's just like, that's right, die.
And I'm in two minds. On one hand, okay, it's kind of like, I remember when I first saw this, it's kind of cool to see these two fight.
Yeah. It's an odd circumstance, and Luffy's still all like full from well, maybe like despite him being full from all that eating, like that he's still powerful enough to put Zorro in actual danger.
It's like he is still powerful, and for all we know, he's trying his best. But that's the thing. He's so ready. It's interesting that Luffy was okay with Nami betraying him.
Yeah,
the crew, but he's not okay with his crew slaughtering innocents in his mind.
Yeah, maybe it's sort of like a. Now I don't have a good explanation for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that just says to his character is like, hey, if people are helpful to us, are kind to us, we're not the kind of pirates that just slaughter people,
Yeah, for sure. But like he hasn't heard, and look, I guess Luffy's not really the type to like hear out a situation, especially if he has such a strong reaction first off. And I don't think Zorro wouldn't be the kind of person to sit down and explain it. He would just be like, oh, okay, this is happening now. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to get through to Luffy, but he's just not having it. I do think as we'll get through more and more, like the saving grace of this chapter for me is the inclusion of Mr. Five and Miss Valentine trying to get hits in, and they just get clobbered.
And it happens sort of right away.
It's the exact like second layer to this fight that it needed.
Yeah, it gives it that comedy edge, because otherwise it is just a straight fight between these two. But they're trying to take care of Vivi, and Zorro kicks Luffy into them, sending them flying.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And this is when Vivi really sees his strength as like dealing with these. And I love this. They're all three of them are in the building.
Yep.
And Vive's like, you may be trying to kill each other, but you keep getting in our way. So why don't we do the job for you?
Yeah.
And he reveals his arm, and Luffy just burps at him. And then we see this big explosion. Valentine comes out, where we get to see what her power is. The Kilo fruit, where she can only weigh a kilogram and be light enough to fly through the air.
Yeah. This actually, I don't think I mentioned it last time, but like her power was foreshadowed, I think, in her first appearance. Like she was, I was like, oh, she jumped really high. I was like, oh right, her power, I think, gets brought up soon. I didn't comment on it at the time.
Yeah, just being able to shift her weight, and it's a nice little bit of foreshadowing. Pretty cool how she can shift it, but it's also like Zorro is just so dead serious here, because again, it's these two attempting to fight Luffy and Zorro while they are completely just like, I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
And Vivi's trying to warn him. He's just like, I'm busy. You get this rumble from the building, and out comes Luffy.
Just dragging Mr. Five.
Beat to a pulp. Already digested all of his food.
Yeah, back to normal.
Yep, he's just like, all right, let's get down to business.
Yeah, well, I love Vivi's reaction. Is like, he took down Mr. Five, and then like it just, oh my god.
Yeah, it's the fight itself. I'm not sure, because Luffy's just seems a little out of character. Again, it might be just because he hates the idea of his crew slaughtering innocents, but he's not even listening to Zorro saying how these are his enemies. They're bounty hunters.
The chaos on this next page, though, where like everybody is trying to get a word in.
And like, Valentine is so aggravated that nobody's listening to her. She's like, let me explain my powers. I can change my weight from 1 to 10,000 kilograms. So feel the 10,000 kilogram press. And Zorro just sidesteps it.
Yeah, he just moves out the way.
Yeah, just like, whatever. Puts on the mask. So yeah, they're definitely both completely serious at this point.
Yep.
And Zorro's ready to kill him too. And yeah, we got Onigiri versus Gum Gum Bazooka.
It looks like Luffy blocked it with his foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blocked it with his sandals. I have to imagine Zorro's still not going completely all out.
I was going to say, he would cut right through it.
You'd think.
Yeah.
But the force is enough that they just both get sent back in opposite directions. So the only one standing is Vivi and Karoo. Is like,
yeah, I love that panel of just the flown back and Vivi and Karoo in the middle, just like, what is happening?
What do? I got to go escape, but this doesn't seem safe. And sure enough, here they come back out again, going at each other. And Five and Valentine are like, all right, we can't be disgraced like this. We got to show them our true power. And they go for it, and they both just say, shut up.
That's a great panel.
Yeah, the look on their faces is fantastic.
Yep.
And such a good two-page spread. It's just like, get out of our fight, and send both of them just flying.
Yeah. Again, that particular framing of this chapter, I think, kind of saves it.
I kind of get it. I like the idea that, okay, Luffy is willing to put up with betrayal against him. He still believes in his crew that much, but yet he doesn't believe in his crew enough that if they hurt the innocent, in quotes, that he's not willing to put him down. So it's such a weird dichotomy there.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels a little bit forced.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we needed a reason for Luffy and Zorro to fight in this chapter, and I think I have a feeling that Oda came up with the gag first of Luffy and Zorro just like completely no-selling Valentine and Five.
Yeah, because let's be honest, after what we've just seen, this wouldn't have been a fight. This would have been another beatdown. So this is a way to keep it interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it, I guess I prefer this over just being like a straight up fight. Like, okay, now Luffy and Zorro have to fight Mr. Five and Miss Valentine. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is.
To my knowledge, there is one fight where it's kind of built up and then just over in a snap, but it's also really, really satisfying.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
So, that's a ways off, but it doesn't happen too much. There's always something that kind of keeps the fights interesting in its own way. Oda differentiates it enough. I don't know. I'm curious what other people think about this one, because it is a little odd, but it also, it works.
See, there's something that we're about to get to that I have my quibbles about.
Okay.
While I was reading this chapter, I didn't think anything of it, but I kind of agree with you.
The SBS, we just get a little bit more of an explanation on the excellent grades and what they're all about, and kind of goes into how they're kind of classified. You even get the patterns for the blades and whatnot, and it's cool.
The fact that it's like actually, because I thought it was just sort of a cool thing, like the sort of like sawtooth pattern on Zorro's sword, but like there's actually it's based on like how actual katanas are forged in real life is pretty cool.
I like it. It's a nice bit of detail that you don't need to know, but it works. Like you could just say,
we talked about.
These are these are the best ones. These are the pretty good ones. These are the good ones. And the rest are all just they're fine.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before, but like the sword lore comes up every now and again, and it's sort of one of those things that is just like there's all these details, but it comes up just very rarely every now and again. You're like, oh yeah, like, this is one of those swords.
Yeah, who knew? Oh boy, but let's get to chapter 113. It's all right, where we have another Kobe and Helmeppo.
Yeah, they're on the ship. They're going to Navy headquarters.
There is really nothing even interesting about this panel. It's just like, here's more of Garp's ship.
Yeah, that's they're on their way.
Yeah, that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
Oh well to that, and oh well to Valentine and 5, because we get another.
This first page of the chapter is so good.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so badass looking.
I know, like what a duo. It's like, who are those guys?
Yeah, Vivi makes an interesting comment here that she didn't think that she'd find people this strong at the start of the Grand Line, which I guess for the implication for the reader is that that there's some. Things are only going to be more powerful as things go on, which makes sense. Which makes sense. The longer you're on the Grand Line, the harder it's going to be. And we're still in the territory. It's like outside of somebody coming across one of the warlords, as soon as they get it there, they can make it probably decently far in the Grand Line. If they're prepared. But to actually be this strong, that is something. But of course, there is somebody even stronger than Zorro and Luffy, and that is Nami. Yes, just bops them both right in the face. Just all right, enough.
It's like, enough. What do you think you're doing? At least the girl's okay, but you could have cost me 1 billion berries.
Vivi's so confused just in these on these like couple pages. She's just like, what? I just love that expression on her face. Like, what? Who are these people? What is going on?
Yeah, it is just. I mean, fair enough. Especially because the two are still trying to fight each other, and she has to thwack him again.
Again, trying to negotiate.
Yep, and then Luffy's just like, "Oh, why didn't you say so? I thought you got mad and beat everyone up because they didn't have the dish you wanted."
Well, I do love that Luffy laughs it off.
It's nice that he laughed it off. It's something that could be quickly forgotten, but it's just like, it is one of those small like, I don't know. But in the grand scheme, it really doesn't matter. Yeah. Vivi immediately says like, 1 billion berries is impossible. And she's like, all right, what do you know about Alabasta? Never heard of it. So apparently it was once the most civilized nation on the Grand Line and peaceful one, but the citizens have grown rebellious in recent years with riots and uprisings, causing the kingdom to kind of fall by the wayside here. Mm-hmm. And then she found out that Baroque Works was behind it all, that they had been stirring up the citizens. But they couldn't uncover any information. So wanting to help her people, she went to Igram and hoped to find the source of the rumors and infiltrate Baroque Works. Mm-hmm. And even Zorro comments is like, that was pretty brave. Yeah. Nami even points out, it's like, but if the goal of Baroque Works is to create the ideal country, then why would he do this? And it's like, Vivi's like, that's a lie. Yeah. The true aim is the conquest of Alabasta.
Just off of these like couple of pages of exposition alone, you really get the sense that like what they're getting involved in is sort of like way bigger than anything they've ever encountered.
Oh yeah.
We're dealing with like political espionage and kingdoms getting taken over.
We're not dealing with a single village getting taken over. This is an entire country.
an entire country.
And Nami was like, oh, I get the picture. So if your country's in chaos, there's no money to be made. And Luffy just straight up asks us, like, all right, who's pulling the strings? Like, no, you don't ask me. I can't tell you. If I did, they'd hunt you down too. It's like, and Nami's like, that's all right. Don't tell us. If he wants to take over a whole kingdom, he must be a scary guy. And Vivi just says that he is. They're very strong, but you're no match for Sir Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords. Ah, crap.
That's the thing that I have some quibbles about.
Yeah, it's a very silly moment because here's the thing: we need a way for the Straw Hats to get caught up in all this because the money isn't there anymore.
Yep.
By putting them on a hit list.
Yeah, and the gag that comes with it, as we see here on the next couple of pages, is pretty funny. Because you have the unluckies that were basically watching the whole time and are like, well.
It's so good. It's like the bird and the otter. Who are they?
Yeah. So
and shaking them up.
We have to keep things moving, and like the slip of the tongue is kind of a funny gag, but it does kind of feels a little bit unnatural to me.
It does. We don't know Vivi that much, and she has been a little silly because of her whole relationship to Mr. Nine, but we'll see that her personality is going to shift quite a bit from those first bits we saw there, where we could see it was all an act before. Mm-hmm. It is one of those things like, okay, we needed a reason for these two to get together. It is funny. Like, that's the thing with Oda is like, from a storyline perspective and how well, like, man, that happened really easily, or this set up this thing, this forced out this thing, this aspect. He covers it well with humor. Yeah.
And I think he's aware of it on some level. And I definitely have some standout moments in my mind of just like, well, that's kind of doesn't really make sense, but that's the way you're going to keep things moving, and you're going to kind of lampshade it a little bit and be like, yeah, I know, but you got to keep things moving. I at least like Nami flips out and she's like, well, that was a brief partnership while it lasted. I'm out of here. It's just like we're screwed.
Yep. He's like, we have no idea what I look like, so I'm gonna leave. I'm out of the crew. Meanwhile, Luffy and Zorro are just like, whatever, because it's like, oh, we're lucky we'll get to meet him soon, because it's just like, again, I think they both realize like, well, we're gonna have to fight him eventually if we're gonna try to be king of the pirates or one of the the strongest swordsmen, so it's just what it is. But Nami's heart's not ready yet.
Of course, yeah.
And that's when we get to see the drawing skills of, I think it's Mr. 13 is the otter. And I love how she claps just like, oh, you're good. But yeah, he got pictures of Nami, Zorro, and Luffy.
Yep. And that's how they get on the Baroque Works hit list.
Mm-hmm. Vivi says, well, I have about 500,000 berries saved up.
It's just like, well,
far cry from $1 billion.
Yeah, she was trying to kind of get away quick scheme, and well, that's... The money's gone. They're all going to die.
Yep, just the way it goes. But thank God for Igaram, who is dressed up as Vivi. Oh my God.
The painted on boob circles just get me every time.
I know. The painted on circles, the face things for the dolls. I love that he kept his rollers for the ponytail.
Yeah.
And the best part, I think, is like Luffy's just like, wow, you look really good.
Well, of course, he's very easily convinced.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, Nami's just like, they're all insane and just depressed. But he tells us a bit more information. He's like, right now, there's no bounty on Crocodile, even though he's one of the warlords. But Crocodile once had a bounty of 80 million on his head.
I would have to go back and reference the Japanese just to be sure, because that line reads a little bit weird to me, because I think what it should be is that like he doesn't have a bounty because he's a warlord, and so because the warlords are the government sanctioned pirates, so it's like obviously they don't have one. They don't. That's the reason why they don't have a number on their head.
Yeah, it's before he got brought into the group. It was 80 million. So
yeah.
He's a big deal.
Which I love. Nami points out that was 4 times what Arlong was worth.
I know that way to sort of rate his stakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I definitely this is why Oda introducing Mihawk when he did is so good, because we sort of know what a warlord's power level is like.
Yeah, what a warlord is capable of, and if one of them is the strongest swordsman in the world. What is Crocodile like, you know?
Yeah, and this guy is trying to do a hostile takeover of an entire kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So they got their work cut out for him.
Stakes have been raised a bit.
Yep.
And, well, we need you to escort Vivi to Alabasta. Before that, hey, give me the eternal pose. And that's when we get this new thing. Is that it's like there's log poses and there's eternal poses that always point to one location forever, which honestly for travel, that makes a lot of sense. That works out really well.
It does make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, the plan is I'm going to set out disguised as you, set out for Alabasta with the dummies. And while I divert their attention, you must go with their people and return by the usual route. But hey, it should only be 2 or 3 log post stops from here. So hopefully we'll meet again in our homeland.
We got the plan set out.
Yeah. It's like, all right, Igram's going right there. He'll distract Baroque works. We're in good shape. We got a couple of stops ahead of us, excuse me. And we're good. We say goodbye. He sets out on that little ship. Apparently he's very reliable. And he's just the complete faith in each other. And God, I wish this was a page turn.
Yep.
It sucks that it's right there. It's just like so obvious because that boom and just the sheer flames.
Well, so I'm reading it on my iPad and I only have one page displayed at a time. So it is kind of a page turn for me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you were reading this, you know, like a book, I guess like it was intended to be, then yeah, you would just look on the other side of the page and be like, well,
Yeah, that's where I'm at because I always read it on my computer and it has the 2 displayed at once.
Yep.
So, yeah, that kind of spoils the surprise, but
the most surprising thing to me is that it worked.
Oh yeah,
the disguise worked.
They got him real quick, and
I like Luffy's reaction. I liked that guy.
I know. And it's immediate panic. I love you don't see Vivi's face. You see like you're gradually turning to see what she's like at the front because it's behind it, a little to the side. We see Luffy just taking it all in as well. Zorro immediately like, okay, how's the log post? It's set. Great. We're setting sail.
We gotta go.
And Nami trying to grab Vivi. If they find us, we're goners. And Vivi's just biting her lip and they get that zoom in and she's drawing blood from biting her lip so hard.
Yeah.
And that little comment from Nami, she's a strong girl, and that like immediate like almost friendship between the two. It's like, we'll get you.
Right,
like we went from blackmail to, hey, your friend just died. We're going to protect you. Let's go.
The amount of times that like everybody's understanding of the situation has changed over the past like 8 chapters or so has been crazy.
Oh yeah. It is insane. And I love this shift. Like Nami's been, of course, afraid of the fact they're taking on one of the 7 warlords, that they're after them. This whole thing is so much bigger than she thought.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, these 4 saved the East Blue all by themselves. 7 warlords, no problem. And that's to have that faith from Nami.
Yeah.
After all the jokes. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like this was definitely the chapter where the stakes got raised and sort of right here at the end, we're like, okay, like we're being thrown into the thick of it now. And so it definitely feels like this is when the arc, like this arc is starting proper.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we got our goal. We have the stakes. Let's go. But first, SBS. And hey, you remember when I mentioned like, hey, we missed that Usopp got new goggles.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. Here's what
I actually did not know. Yeah, that this was basically something that got cut.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. He provides the page to show how he actually got it and how it goes into the fact of like he was looking for eggs and they're like, hey, go to a grocery.
Yeah.
Or go to a supermarket. It's a nice touch. Also, good on the translators for actually translating that page.
Because it's probably very scratchy handwriting.
Yeah, the scratchy handwriting adds to it a lot.
Yeah.
That just makes it seem legit. That's
probably would have been really hard to read.
Oh yeah. I appreciate that extra bit of detail. Well, let's go ahead and move on to chapter 114, the end of the Whiskey Peak arc, the course. Yep. And Kobe and Helmeppo are at Navy headquarters where they're back to doing chores, and more chores.
It feels like we had something really exciting happen, and then it's sort of just like back to the status quo, but we're doing it in a different location.
It's amazing how little Morgan mattered in the end. Morgan was just a stepping stone to get Helmeppo to forsake his father, see Kobe as a friend, and get them to Navy headquarters with Garp, who was just sort of hanging out
and now Helmeppo's like, because early on in the cover story, he was always the one slacking off and complaining and whatnot. So seeing him do chores right alongside Kobe is like, okay, this is sort of like actual character development happening here in these side stories.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's there. It's because it's been so long, so you kind of forget that he was complaining before. Oh, well, time to get the others and get out of here. So what does Luffy do? He grabs Usopp by the nose and grabs Sanji by the leg. And just starts dragging them out of the house.
Usopp's nose is gonna break off.
Yeah, that's his prized possession. Same with Sanji's legs. Those are their prizes. And they're rushing through the town. Vivi's looking for Karoo. Zorro's got the anchor up, ready to go. Luffy gets there. I got him. It's like, oh, they went back to sleep. They're just passed out.
Are you sure they're not dead? If they're dragging Usopp by the nose.
Through a building. It's just, ugh. Of course, Vivi's concerned about Karu. Is like, we can't leave him here. He's supposed to come when she whistles. Oh, you mean him? And Karu's just there. Oh, God, Karoo. I love that bird. It's like, all right, sail the ship upriver. We can catch the current a little further up. It's a faster course. Let's go.
They're getting the hell out of here.
And Luffy's even like, I wonder how many agents they'll send after us. Well, they have about 2,000 members. And there are other towns like Whiskey Peak, so there could be a lot of them after us.
Yeah. I do appreciate, though, because we already, like I said, we already established that, like, we just took down number 5, or Mr. 5, and, there's basically 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. So we have, I guess, 5 more members to go through. And in the flames where Igaram was destroyed, we have this cowboy hat girl, kind of looking like Nami at the
in the cover page, yeah.
Cover page, yeah. Now that I think about it, she's like, "Oh, a decoy. Oh, silly." It's just
Man,
this mystery woman.
This page, just like the fire over the water and all of the shading, is just awesome.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, there's something really kind of like terrifying and imposing about it.
It builds up the stakes so well because up to this point, we've ran ramshackle through the Baroque works. Zorro styled over them the entire town. They took out the number 5 members like it was nothing.
Yep.
So it's like, up to this point, they didn't seem like an actual threat. But by showing who the actual boss is and blowing up Igaram, all of a sudden, things got a little bit more serious with that.
If there's one thing, I thought about this in the previous chapter too, but I love that, like, because like the ocean is, there's this huge explosion and the ocean's on fire, but I love that, like, with the paneling, the scale of it just seems so massive because we can't see the edge of the explosion. It's like it's always cut off by the panel borders, so it just makes it feel really huge.
Wow.
It's
just like, how big was this bomb? Sanji and Usopp are complaining. It's like, why aren't we staying? We got to go back. And Nami explains by beating him over the head.
They got to get caught up somehow. They've missed a lot.
Yeah, it's been a while, so it's a little rough on them. But that's when we get our mystery woman on the ship. They actually managed to get on. Just Going Merry,
completely out of nowhere.
And it's like she reveals, like, Vivi's like, "Did you kill Igaram?" It just sort of smiles back at her. And this is Miss All Sunday, the Baroque Works Vice President and Supreme Commander, the partner of Mr. Zero. So, just as strong.
Yeah. Just like her introduction and just complete imposing nature is... It is such a just kind of like, oh crap kind of moment.
Imposing, different, has this calm demeanor to her, like, just like nothing really matters.
Yeah.
The fact that she does successfully have a different design from the other women.
Yeah.
It's mostly in the nose, but it works. It's just enough to change it up a bit.
Yeah, I think you can at least tell the difference between Nami and Vivi kind of based on context, but they do tend to look pretty similar. But yeah, at least all Sunday, I don't think you'll be mistaking for anyone else. No,
I don't believe so. But that's when Vivi reveals, like, she was the one who knew the boss's true identity, so we followed her and found out. And that's when All Sunday reveals, yeah, I let you follow me.
Well, of course.
And Luffy's just like, that was nice. And then she's like, but then she told the boss that we learned his true identity. Well, that wasn't nice. It just reminds me of the Simpsons, like, that's good.
That is good. That's bad. Yeah, exactly.
All Sunday just said, like, I was curious because you seemed so earnest, so I decided to help you. A princess declaring war on the Baroque works to save her country. Pathetic.
Man, she is just completely owning everybody.
Just, again, in the middle of this ship, she's seen what these guys have done to Whiskey Peak and Five and Valentine. Doesn't care.
Does not care.
We got Usopp and Sanji not knowing what's going on.
Yep. Sanji's got a gun.
Yeah, Sanji's got a gun pointed at a woman, no doubt.
Yeah.
So that was something. But somehow, without even moving, she tosses him over.
Yeah.
That's when, like, she has a devil fruit. Of course she has a devil fruit.
I don't think we don't see it here.
No, we have no idea what the devil fruit power is. Just, it's almost like some sort of psychic ability. The way she threw them and then lifts up Luffy's hat.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's just... I love these moments where Oda will do this a number of times where we get introduced to a character and we see them use their devil fruit, but we don't know what it is yet. And it always just looks like they're completely unstoppable, basically.
Yeah. If you know, there are clues here.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Especially in the panel where Luffy's hat lifts up. I feel like that's the most obvious clue.
Yeah.
She knows his name, and, of course, he is all riled up by that. Sanji finally realizing, oh, hey, she's actually beautiful.
Right. It took pointing a gun at her and then getting yeeted off the down to the bottom of the ship.
Yeah, he's fully awake now.
Yeah.
But yeah, she says, I'm not on an assignment, so I don't need to fight you.
Hey, yeah.
I also love the little detail. I completely missed it the first time I read it. When Luffy's screaming at her to give back the hat, Usopp's behind the mast.
Oh, yeah.
Pointing with notice. Nami.
Yeah.
That is good.
That's very good. Poor Usopp was brave enough to get over there and, at least aim his slingshot, but then, after getting completely thrown aside.
Yeah,
like,
it's like, okay. Oh, it's a random woman. I can take care of this. She's threatening her. I can handle this.
No.
Oh, hell, she has devil fruit powers. Never mind.
Well,
I'm out of here. But yeah, she's talking about their luck. It's bad luck for the pirates to get hunted down just because of a princess. It's bad luck for the princess because their protection is just a bunch of pirates. And the worst luck is that their log post is headed towards a place called Little Garden.
Yeah.
So we don't even need to kill you. This island will take care of it.
Yeah, they'd just be like, okay, you're just going to die, which is one heck of a setup for the the next arc, basically.
Exactly. And it's like, Luffy's just like, no, we're going to show you, so give back the hat, dumbhead.
Notoriously bad at insults, Luffy.
That's when she offers up another bit of help. It's like, to sail knowingly into mortal danger is just silly. So here's the eternal pose to Alabasta. Oh, no, the Island of Nothing, which is one stop before Alabasta.
Island of Nothing. This is an interesting... All right.
Yeah. Nothing really happens there. It's boring.
Wow, I didn't know. It's an eternal pose straight from my hometown.
Yeah, there you go. Lucky you. I mean, who knew you were on the Grand Line?
Yeah, wow, it's rough out here.
Yeah, really. So yeah, she's actually kind of helping them, even though Zorro thinks it's a trap. And he's just like, you don't know. Do you trust her? Do you not?
Yeah, I love that close up. Who knows?
Yeah.
Is it a trap? Is it not?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Luffy.
Yeah, but just...
No, he does not. No, I was like, how dare you challenge us? She's not deciding the course we take. So he crushes the eternal pose. Nami is, of course, pissed.
Yeah. It's like, she just gave us an easy route. What are you doing?
And I love that this is the moment that that seems to really impress Vivi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like her. She blew up the guy with the rollers.
Yeah.
She leaves on her turtle Bunchi, which I love him. He has a nice little cigarette.
Yeah, and he has his own little hat.
Yeah, they match. It's cute. It's very cute.
I definitely I'm here with Vivi. Just like, I wish I knew what her game was. Like, all Sunday is just what is she after?
Yeah,
it definitely gets sort of the vibe that, like, you don't really know what she's up to.
No, there's no real indication, and she just has such a different demeanor to the other Baroque works, where it's like, we got to do this to impress the boss. She doesn't have to impress anybody. She's there.
Exactly. Yeah, she's just definitely a demeanor fitting for the partner of the boss.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff there, but of course, it's time to get caught up on, like, hey, what the heck is going on? Vivi feeling like, we shouldn't have put you in danger. It's like, hey, it's your fault that they're after us. Don't worry about it, because Luffy's not even worried. It's like, time for breakfast.
Yep.
And everybody else is just like, what is going on?
Just got threatened. It's like, just another day.
Yeah. And he just digested all that food how long ago? So, yeah. But that's when we get a little preview of what Little Garden is like, where we see this giant tiger next to giant human feet.
Oh, boy.
And that brings us to a close.
Ominous.
Very ominous. And that's the end of the Whiskey Peak arc.
Yeah.
Boy, what a shifting storyline that was over 9 chapters.
Yeah. Definitely, I think as we were talking early on, it sort of has that like Baratie energy to it, where it's just kind of complete chaos for a while. It's a controlled chaos, but there's just so many things happening, and it's always entertaining.
Some of the best action scenes up to this point, and just how you take care of mooks, some shifting alliances, some raising stakes. We have our next goal. Like, it sets up so much while having so much fun.
Yeah. It definitely. Oh man, we're getting into it. Like, this is. It definitely is sort of like the base setup of what the story's going to be for the next little while. Is like, we got all the basics out of the way, and we have a goal, and I'm ready to see how the Straw Hats are gonna accomplish it, basically.
And that brings us to chapter 115, Little Garden of Adventure. And we actually have a page before the title page this time, where Sanji and Usopp are fully caught up, and Sanji's just like, sorry I missed the action, but I'll have a chance to show my stuff. And Usopp's just like, I'm glad I slept through it.
Yeah.
And Sanji immediately trying to play up Nami's like, hey, are you jealous? No. And Usopp playing himself up is like, rumor has it that the 30 million berry reward on this wanted poster is actually for me.
Of course. he still thinks he's at the party.
Yeah, he's all about it.
Yeah, he's still trying to show off.
And meanwhile, Luffy just, for whatever reason, thinks it's going to snow again.
He's convinced.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's back to Kobe and Helmeppo, who actually are doing something different. Like, all right, guys, no time for sleep.
Helmeppo's doing crunches. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed.
He's already getting buff.
Yeah, there's some abs in there. It's like, oh man, these guys are doing a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, and now that we've established that Garp is kind of a big deal, it is kind of a big deal that like they're getting trained by him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if they're getting trained by him specifically, or they're just deciding to use the opportunity to train.
Right. Yeah. Or I guess it's like they're training at Navy headquarters, being brought by Garp. Yes.
So we'll see how that goes on from this point. Mm-hmm. But then we learn a bit more about Vivi, where the ocean isn't as crazy from this point on, because you got all the different magnetic fields coming from Reverse Mountain, and because of all the 7 different routes. You can't relax, but they're not going to be as crazy as they were at the beginning, which, hey, that's a good explanation for why you don't have to draw being crazy unless you really need to.
Right, yeah, exactly. And of course, that is the perfect opportunity for the crew to just be like, all right, it's party time.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah.
Want to try a special drink? And even Karu's in on it.
Yeah, Karu's in on it. It's great.
And she's definitely not used to the crew. Are they supposed to be doing that? And Nami's just like, they'll pitch in if there's a problem. But just have a drink. And I love this blossoming friendship between Nami and Vivi.
Yeah, I was definitely I hadn't pointed that out earlier, but the sort of like they're kind of back and forth as things go on is really interesting and really fun. Absolutely.
And I guess the thing that I'm noticing for Vivi that wasn't apparent in the anime, I guess the big differential for her, other than the hair, is she has a glossier lip than Nami.
Oh, I don't think I ever would have noticed. I see it now, but yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, it's always there. I guess like that's
it feels like Oda kind of struggling to figure out how to make her look different.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look, it's a dolphin. How cute. oh crap, it's huge.
I feel like that's one of those things that you can only get away with in manga.
It's just that perspective. And it works so well.
That's great.
But it shows them. They play hard, they work hard, and they managed to make it to Little Garden, the second island of the Grand Line.
Yeah.
They got to be careful. There might be monsters, but they got to find provisions since they didn't stock up at Whiskey Peak.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a complete jungle, no sign of a town or anything. And they're already commenting about just how huge everything is.
Yeah, well, this is Little Garden. There's nothing little here.
Yeah,
like, was it named ironically, or?
I was like, oh, I don't know. Also, I missed this before, but when Sanji's saying, "Oh, Nami, you're so cute when you're scared," he's smoking out little hearts,
little heart puffs, of course.
Oh, Sanji, you dope.
Yeah. Well, of course, I love the juxtaposition of Sanji going, it's just a normal jungle. There's nothing to be afraid of. And Luffy looks up, and there's like an eagle looking thing that flies by, but it's got a lizard head for a head.
Although, scientifically accurate dinosaur. Good on you, Oda. You were ahead of the curve.
Hey, true.
Dinosaur with feathers.
Yeah.
Then there's this great big boom that they think is like a volcano blowing its top. They see a tiger and just splattering over.
Yeah.
Blood's coming out. So, geez.
Yeah. There's nothing normal about this place.
Yeah. And Usopp's like, we don't set foot on this island. Let's just wait for the ship for the log post to reset and get the heck out of Dodge.
Yep. And well, Luffy's got other plans, unfortunately for them.
Yeah. I love that he's literally shaking in excitement. It's like, I need a box lunch, a pirate box lunch. That's vegetable-free box lunch for quick energy.
Of course.
It's just that smile on Luffy.
Yeah. I love I love the Nami trying to convince him, to listen to reason, and then just like the dejected, smiling tears of there's no stopping him. He's too wound up.
And even Sanji's not concerned. He's like, all right, hold on, I'll get you your lunch. And hey, even Vivi wants to go.
Yeah. I love that she's like, Karoo will protect me, and Karoo's like,
That duck scared Quackless.
That's great. Oh, poor Karoo. He deserves better.
He does, but he's a fun bird. So yeah, that's an interesting pairing, having Luffy and Vivi, because they haven't interacted up to this point, really.
And it's I definitely like, and I feel like this is the coolest part of like any sort of adventure story, when you get to a new place and the group just kind of like splits apart to do their own thing, and you get these really interesting combinations. And I like that Zoro's like, I'm gonna take a walk.
Yeah. That's one thing I really appreciate as we go along, is that he always finds an excuse to like mix up who goes with who.
Exactly. Yeah. It keeps things fresh.
Yeah. It's never always the same, because we got Luffy and Vivi, and we have Zoro almost going on his own, but of course it turns into a competition to hunt.
Yeah.
To see who can get the bigger beast. So now it's Zoro and Sanji, technically together.
Yeah, going off alone to try to accomplish the same goal.
It's a contest over the most kilos of meat. Why not tons? Sounds good. And I love this. It's like, then there were two. Why does it always end up like this? I know the feeling.
Yep.
Don't cry. I'll be your friend. And it's like, then just, you're useless.
I love that. It's something we'll see more of as the story goes on, but the scaredy cat dynamic between Nami and Usopp is so good.
Yeah.
Because they're always the ones like, oh god, get me out of here.
There's something about each pair that you know exactly how they're going to work. Like, you get the scaredy cat dynamic with Nami and Usopp. Nami and Zoro is just her manipulating him. Nami and Sanji kind of in the same way. And Nami just trying to rein in Luffy.
Yes. Everybody has their own dynamic with each other, and it's so good. It's
so clear. That's the impressive part about it. But at this point, she's like, wait, I've read about Little Garden before. And Luffy's checking things out. He's like, oh, it looks like an ammonite. You're finding a weird squid.
Yeah.
And that's where she discovers, they discover a Neptunian, a dinosaur.
Yeah.
It's a prehistoric island. Because according to Vivi, it's so hard to travel on the Grand Line. The islands here have been isolated. So each one has developed its own unique culture. And some cultures are very advanced. Others have been unchanged. The fact the Grand Line just makes this possible. So this island is actually still
cool
a dinosaur age. That is, man, way to give yourself an excuse to just draw whatever the hell you feel like.
Yeah, basically, the One Piece world can have anything, is sort of what Oda is trying to convey to the reader right now, I think, is like, yeah, we can have dinosaurs, what about it? Like,
yeah, doesn't matter.
Every island just develops differently, or develops at their own pace, or just doesn't develop at all.
And it's impressive he decides to come up with a reasoning for this, because again, to pull from Dragon Ball, which is probably the most influential shonen manga for a lot of manga, at least during this golden age, he had animal people and he had dinosaurs for no reason.
Yeah, and it was all just kind of goofy fun, you know. It was like the kind of thing where Dragon Ball's style of world building is, you know, Toriyama is a very, like, he just flew by the seat of his pants for so much of it. And it worked. This is definitely Oda being like, okay, I'm going to have all of this crazy stuff happen, but like there's a realistic enough explanation for it.
Yeah, it's wacky, it's weird, but I do have my reasons for it, and it's it's a nice little extra step that's appreciated.
Yeah, it definitely despite being so wacky, I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about like the world building in One Piece, is that it does feel cohesive despite how bonkers it is.
Mm-hmm. And that's when we get where we kind of leave off. We've just started our new arc, the Little Garden arc, and why is it called Little Garden? Because to its inhabitants, the island truly is a little garden. Therefore, let us call it Little Garden, Land of Giants.
Oh.
I love this. It was written in a book called Bragman.
Yeah.
Bragman.
Well, I do like, because we even see, like, one of the giants comes in, approaching the Mary.
Towering over the Mary. Like, he is taller than the Mary, just slipping through the trees.
Yeah. So they've discovered a giant.
Yep. We got a giant confronting Nami and Usopp, who, you know, Luffy's already riding a dinosaur, so we're not really concerned about him. But Nami and Usopp being in trouble, yeah, that makes sense.
They tried to avoid trouble.
They do, but it found them.
Trouble finds a way.
Yep, it does. I'd call these a great set of chapters.
Oh, yeah. They
have their little quibbles, how Vivi's letting slip Crocodile's identity, the fight between Luffy and Zorro.
Yeah, but it's so... I think it's evident for the quality of everything else, of how those sort of little things wash off of you, because you're just like, okay, well, that's sort of a clunky way to get from point A to point B, but we're already at point like D and E, so you know, just the way in which Oda is able to move things along, I can sort of forgive these little like, I don't know if that was maybe the best choice for this part, but like
it's so quick, so even if you have that little stumble, that doesn't create this domino effect. It's just like a little stumble, okay, we're back and off to a nice run.
Yeah, and I definitely, oh my gosh, I feel like Little Garden here is sort of the first time we really see that we're like arriving at a new place, and everybody just kind of goes off to do their own thing, and we're going to be following different perspectives that all sort of weave in and out of each other and like eventually coalesce back into like the main plot, which
I remember some of the major plot elements of Little Garden. I don't remember the little details, so
I don't remember how we get there, which I think is important.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to see. We got our little taste, and I believe with that we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 111 to 115 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube, or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter. I have a lot of books that I can't wait to talk about coming out in June, probably, so I will be, like Deadpool I alluded to, and just other exciting stuff on the horizon, so... I think I will actually be talking about manga lettering and my job and all that fun stuff a little more often, if you're into that sort of thing. Of course, I'll also be just talking about whatever sort of like games and anime that I'm into.
We're getting into the reveal season for video games, so there is that.
Yeah.
So definitely keep an eye out over there. And if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER to listen to the next episode 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 116 to 120 of One Piece. Until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Everyone here was nothing but nice to us. They welcomed us and threw us a party, and they gave us food, and you repaid them by cutting them all up with those swords of yours!
Yeah, but there's something you don't know.
Just shut up and fight me!
This guy's just a complete idiot.